we recommend will help prevent such a disaster from ever happening again.
The government timeline of events has been consistent. Traveling at 440 miles per hour and carrying about 10,000.
And then they go on to say that the government's never changed its story. NIST has changed its story 6 times, giving different reasons. Both the big towers fell and then 47-story building 7, where the CIA was housed, hit by nothing, small fires, implodes perfectly in its own footprint. The media false scripts, announces 25 minutes before on BBC and CNN that it's fallen from fire completely in its own footprint while it's still standing. I've interviewed the police and firemen and EMTs on air where they're going, everybody get back, there's a government countdown, 10, 9, 8, and the cops are all, running. The government blew it up. Hundreds of police and firemen and medical workers are on record. You even see Democracy Now! Amy Goodman's out there reporting, and she's like, they say get out of here, it's a countdown, And they're all running, and building 7 falls. But none of that gets to be in the piece. Richard, I remember about 5-6 months ago having you on, and I'm not beating you up. I remember we kind of had a debate on air about whether this was going to be a hit piece or not, and you said, no, they're taking...
I'm sorry that you remembered that conversation, Alex.
No. I've been put through this as well. They will sit there and go, I swear to you, this is not a hit piece. We believe your side, and we're going to show your evidence. I promise. Operation Northwoods. And I had History Channel, when it was done, laugh at me in the parking lot and say, you're an idiot. We're going to get you.
Oh.
I mean, oh, yeah. These people knowingly lie for a living. Listen, the same production crew wanted me to go be in a JFK film. And I talked to the people they were discussing, with a fake president's head full of green jelly, and the car wasn't in the right spot. And It doesn't matter. 92% of Americans in a Gallup poll believe the government killed Kennedy. 84% in a New York Times poll believe the government's lying about 9/11. 7 of the 10 commissioners say it was a fraud and a lie and a cover-up. So... But I think that's key evidence, though, that they told you your evidence would be in there. They showed you a fake cut. Again, that goes to their credibility like nothing else.
Oh, yeah. And this is stunning given the reputation National Geographic has for, a reputation certainly of honesty and scientific pursuit. This is an absolute joke. At this point, and you're right. That was a double cross on the part of Robert Erickson of Creative Differences. I'm stunned. I've got another opportunity in New York next week where I will be interviewed by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Ole Rumak, of the Fifth Estate program on the CBC up there. And where he's doing a special on the scientific side.
They've actually done some fair jobs on that very popular national program.
I'm glad to hear that, because I haven't done the research yet.
In the past, the Fifth Estate has done some of the most fair and objective reporting in the world. Like, they'll cover, the U.S. government admits they've staged over 200 terror attacks in other countries. U.S. researchers believe that 9/11 may have been the same. Let's look at both sides. I was in a report they did like 5 years ago. I don't know if this is a different producer, but overall the show at least will look at, we're not just crazily thinking this. It's like if you have a neighbor who just got out of jail for robbing banks, and 1 week after he gets out of jail, another bank gets robbed, and the description fits. You're not a conspiracy theorist to say maybe Bob did it. But listen, Richard, I got you here now. Give out the Architects and Engineers site, the documents, the videos. We sell some of the great films you guys have produced with your evidence at Infowars.com in the online video bookstore. But regardless, tell folks about the website so people can actually go see the evidence for themselves and not see it distorted through the lens of the CIA. I mean, this company, Creative Differences.
Yeah, our website is called AE911truth.org, which stands for Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. AE911truth.org. And you can get the DVD there where we lay out 2 hours in the 2-hour research edition of our 9/11 Blueprint for Truth DVD. And we also now, by the way, Alex, we have another DVD, which is the companion edition. It has the abridged versions. There's a 10-minute, a 30-minute, and a 60-minute version all on this DVD. So you don't have to ask a friend or a colleague to sit through 2 hours of the DVD. In 10 minutes, we give all of the crucial evidence for building.
That's right.
7.
You've got a key boil-down YouTube-type video on the front page, and then a bunch of others for people that want to get the down and dirty, quick, skinny, and then watch the National Geographic piece, and it really becomes a laughingstock.
Yeah, especially if you watch the DVD by Stephen Jones, it's brand new. It's only come out in the last month. Nanothermite. What in the world is nanothermite doing in the World Trade Center dust? This is the whole documentary of his 27-page peer-reviewed paper, in which he documents the findings of these small chips of nanothermite found in all of the dust samples that he's collected and others have collected throughout lower Manhattan.
And now separate universities, separate professors have gone to groups, cities, and counties that got steel for their own memorials and have tested it. I know Jones has done scores of samples from people's homes that documented, live there, whose homes have been demolished or being demolished. But the show tries to imply he never had a chain of custody. Well, when you've got all these different universities, all these different professors, and Jones from all these different sources finding the same evidence of nanothermite, and then you have this piece saying there's no such thing as explosive thermite when it's patented and on record. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, it is patented and on record, and that was over 10 years ago. Lawrence Livermore Lab, Los Alamos Lab documents this stuff, and the particles of iron oxide and aluminum are 1,000 times smaller than a human hair. The iron oxide particles are perfectly rhomboidal in shape at 40 nanometers, and the aluminum plates are about the same size and perfectly uniform, and they are mixed in this 1/3, 2/3 proportion that you have to have for this ideal thermite reaction. And this stuff, because of the surface area is so small, it becomes extremely explosive, which is why it's called super thermite and made of nanoparticles.
And that's what they use with just a thin caulking to separate the missile sections or rocket sections of an ICBM or a Saturn-type rocket. Now, also, they show the hot steel pouring out of the side, the molten iron from the steel being melted, and they say, oh, that's aluminum. But Jones and others have done the test, and it shows aluminum comes out white and flaky, doesn't keep any color for more than a second, and only a few feet. This is falling hundreds and hundreds of feet and staying yellow and then orange and then red. Only iron does that. And then separately, we have the videos from New York TV of the firefighters saying thousands and thousands of degrees above jet fuel, molten lava, molten steel and iron down in the pits a month after the collapse. 1,800-degree jet fuel can't do that. The firefighters are saying molten iron. Only molten iron can be caused by massive thermite.
Yeah, there's no iron in the building, first of all. There's iron in steel columns, of course, but it's an alloy. And what Dr. Jones finds is these previously molten iron chunks, which he's analyzed, are indeed not melted structural steel because there's abundant manganese in them and very little chromium, too. So this is clearly another, an additional component that's not in building materials. And so where did it come from? Well, it could only come from thermite. Thermite's byproduct is molten iron. All of the evidence is supporting the control hypothesis theory.
Well, we normally take calls on the show,
Control demolition.
but I've been so busy with this information we haven't. But we'll take a few calls for Richard Gage straight ahead, 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. In the final segment with our guest, he's on with us for a full hour coming up Wednesday.